Hey friends, what's up? Phillip here with Points with Phillip, and I know it sounds like I've been talking about the Chase Sapphire Reserve quite a bit, but this new rumor, if it's true, could really single-handedly destroy a lot of the things that people really loved about this card. So before we get into that, and to be clear, it is a rumor, it's a post on Reddit, but it provides something interesting to think about and talk about, and we can kind of go from there. But before we get into that, I wanted to go ahead and ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful for you guys. And really, honestly, that's helps more people to see this content, which is something that I would appreciate. So thank you for your support. More importantly, though, if you've already been someone who's been subscribing and liking, for a while, I really appreciate your support. And thank you so much for coming back. It really means a lot to me. All right, so let's jump into this rumor. So what we're looking at today is there was a post on Reddit, and essentially, so this, take it with a grain of salt. We haven't seen anything that does that, but we also haven't seen anything that doesn't say this. So the new rumor here is that the Chase Sapphire Reserve redemption point bonus, or basically essentially rebate, in the Chase Travel Portal is going away with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So that's a very complicated way to say. Essentially, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, if you're using your points to redeem them for purchases in the Chase Travel Portal, you could get 1.5 cents per point on those points values with this rebate. And so essentially what that meant was if you wanted to you could very easily lock in 1.5 cents per point on domestic economy flights, on cruises that were bookable through the Chase Travel Portal, and any hotel category, including Marriott or Hilton, or IHG. Now, IHG and Marriott famously have like 0.5, 0.6 cents per point average valuations. And so if you're able to instead take those points for your Chase points and make them 1.5 cents per point, then all of a sudden that value of using those hotel stays, well, it becomes a lot more interesting, a lot more easier to get for most people. Now, the rumor here is that this benefit is going away. Now, this is specifically just about the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but it's important to note that the Chase Sapphire Preferred also has a similar benefit for a little bit less. Now, if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred and you essentially use your points to pay through the Chase Travel Portal, those points can be, with this rebate, worth 1.25 cents per point. And so essentially this benefit has kind of been an interesting distinguishing factor from other providers like with Capital One or American Express. Now we have to kind of wonder, is this an actual thing? So is it possible that this is true? Now, in order to be able to answer that question, first of all, this is pure speculation. We're just talking about what could be and, kind of clutching our pearls and wringing our hands a little bit, to be fair, right? But let's take a look at American Express. So American Express, for those of you that don't know, with the American Express Business Platinum and the American Express Business Gold card, they both had redemption rebates through the American Express travel portal. And so that included hotels, airfare, things like that. And however, in the years since the American Express Business Gold card, that rebate has gone away. And it's interesting, Luke with Luke's Points and Miles, he's someone who's noticed the fact that American Express, while the benefit is still on the American Express Platinum card, Business Platinum card, it's essentially not being advertised anymore. And so it's theorized by a lot of people in the credit card community that will be going the way of this similar but smaller rebate on the Business Gold card. So essentially, it would give you one less reason to hold the American Express Business Platinum card. Now, so if you take a look at what American Express has done, so to be clear, they've removed it from a premium card that it was on before, and they've stopped advertising that it's a benefit of the Business Platinum, and everyone kind of expects that means that it's going to go away soon, because that's kind of how American Express treated Lounge Buddy on the green card. They just stopped announcing that it was there, and then eventually it went away. So essentially, if you take a look at this, American Express is going away with this. And so, well, if American Express is kind of going away with this rebate model, then Chase would be the only provider that would allow that, or that would have that as an option or a benefit of the card. And well, essentially, is that if you're a Chase executive, that's just free money that you're giving away to cardholders. And so it's purely a rumor, but honestly, the way the card economy is kind of right now, it's a very believable one. Now, stick with me over the next month or so, because I think we have heard that we're going to start getting some more concrete, actual information on, I think it was June 17th, which is coming up. So, in the next week or so, we'll know a lot more, and we can kind of work with what we have at that point. But anyway, thanks so much for listening to me discuss this. It's been really interesting. I'm not quite sure what to think about it. If it's true, it would be bad. But then again, I also don't have the Chase Sapphire Reserve anyway, because it's kind of expensive, and well, I'm very far past 524. But I will say, if that is the case, I won't be encouraging my wife to upgrade hers next year. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate your support and your views. Please let me know your thoughts and feelings about this in the comment section below, and I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.